Come here, Beau. They can't see you when you do that. This is Beau, and this is Gus. And in this video, we're going to go over how you can help your dog have a positive association with the kennel. Now, Beau does not like the kennel. Gus was trained as a puppy. This is a rescue dog. And so he was here first, but we don't know his background. And he breathes heavy when he's in the kennel. He doesn't, and he actually goes and hides under the bed when it's time for the guardians to go. And because he just doesn't want to go in there. Now, what I found is for dogs, the two things sit that they don't like about the kennel is I'm restrained, and the only time I'm put in here is when my humans are about to abandon me. So that's the problem. So that's why I don't want to go in there. Oh, this is awesome. So this is ketchup. Now, I like using fun command words because dogs can read facial expressions. So we just had a little bit of a family debate over what we're going to call it. We're going to call, because they're wiener dogs, this kennel is called ketchup. This kennel is called mustard. Now, you see, he went in there on his own volition without any, all right, you guys are already in the next stage, mustard. A lot of dogs won't go in there and we have to shove them in there. And the more that we force, that's going to cause them a resentment. They're not going to want to do it. There we go. So what I want to do is practice going in and out. And I usually don't let other dogs go in the kennel. So we're going to put you there and we're going to go ahead and close you in here, Mr. Mustard, just for a minute so we can practice this. So what I want to do is to assign a funny command word for this. I like, first of all, we have I prefer wire kennels instead of these plastic ones, but that's okay. So what I want to do is you want to have the a light color for the dog bed. And you don't want to have a lot of bedding in there. You want just the mat. And I like a light color because when I throw this treat in there, he'll be able to see it. Now, these kennels are fine, but if you're doing this at home and you're deciding what kind of kennel to get a wire kennel instead of a plastic one. They fold down a lot easier, and you can see in from the top. So basically what I do is I let him see that I have a treat, and I throw it in there, and when he licks it up, I say the word ketchup. And then I let him come back out, and I throw another one in. Ketchup. Remember, anytime a treat goes in the mouth, they should hear the command word after the treat goes in their mouth. Ketchup. Now, I don't know what you guys calling it before. Go to your happy home. Go to your happy home, which I like that because it's funny, but because of the dog, it probably has a negative connotation. So the dog doesn't like that because I hear happy home and I put in here. Most people, what I like to do is help the dog practice being in the kennel when we're actually home and then with the door open. Now, I won't be able to, because the proximity of what's going on here, I'm not going to show you how to make a dog sit before you let it out of the kennel. I will link it on the right up here above if you're watching this on doggoneproblems.com. And what I would normally do is I keep on tossing treats in here. Well, let me describe this first, and then I'll come back to that. But I should have a link to a video that shows me how it shows me doing it. So you see now he's lingering here, so I want to come back out all the way and then catch it. So you want to keep on doing this, like every time you're going down here, just come and grab a treat, toss it, do it, rip it in half, do 2 or 3, and then leave. So we're having him practice going in the kennel, getting something positive happening, and leaving with nothing bad happening, and I'm not forced to go in here. So that means every time I go in the kennel, it doesn't guarantee me that I'm about to be abandoned or restrained. So the idea is just to rep this and try to do this, give yourself a little ramekin out there, and then try to do it, put like maybe 10 treats and tear them in half so you have about 20. So by the end of the day, make sure the ramekin's empty. So periodic throughout the day, we're doing this, we're practicing this. So he doesn't practice running away, just after a while, you just start coming in this room, he'll run right in there. Okay, now there are other little tips and tricks that you can do. Sometimes people will get like a marrow bone or a bully stick. And again, you can do it with this, it's just a little bit harder. What I usually do is drill through the marrow of the marrow bone, or I drill through the bully stick and I get a zip tie and I zip it to the back of the kennel. And I leave it in here with the door open. Well, the only way the dog can actually get it is by going in the kennel. And they can't leave because it's attached to the back of the kennel. And then basically, the dog practices being calm in the kennel while something positive happens. Now, if your dog won't go in the kennel, I do something like this. Come here, buddy. Is I take a bunch of treats like this, and I throw them in the kennel, and I close the door. And I might just toss another one in. That's what we want. And he's a wiener dog, he might be able to get that one. But the idea is he's seeing all these treats there and he can't get them. Now we're creating a longing to want to go in the kennel. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So now he's ready to go. He's going to force his way in there. So now we say ketchup every time he looks up. Ketchup, ketchup, ketchup. So you see he's very comfortable going in there and he's getting rewarded for going in there. So if you do the marrow bone or the bully stick, he gets to go in there and chew on it with the door open, and he can leave and come back in and go So these are all different ways to create a positive association for him to go in there. Now, I'm going to describe what I normally do. What I do is, when I finally want to start doing this, and again, I'll have this link to the video, it'll be easier, is I throw the treat in there. Once the dog goes in there, then I very quietly step behind, and I stand right here blocking this with my shins. And the door is open, and the human is here. So the two factors that we don't like are no longer at play. And what I do is I wait for the dog to sit down. And this is the other reason I like a wired kennel, because I can't see from the top when I'm doing this. But as soon as the dog sits down, I take a step backwards. And if the dog tries to come out, I take a step forward to block him. And I want the dog to say, just because there's nobody blocking doesn't mean you can't exit. You can exit the kennel. You need to wait for permission. Then I usually wait for them to LAY. Now, the first time you do this, you have to wait for them to lay down. And the record is, I had a boxer once. It took an hour and 15 minutes before it laid down. So go to the bathroom first, have a glass of water here. So you have to outlast the dog. If the dog outlasts you, then it's like, oh, protest. Then eventually the human gives in, and I get to come out of the kennel. So as soon as the dog lays down, sitting is a more subordinate position for dogs. Laying down is a surrender position. Also saying, I'm just so relaxed and comfortable, I'm laying down. If I don't tell the dog to sit or lie down, because if it lays down on its own, it's saying, I'm so relaxed in here, that I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position. Now, when I first start doing this, as soon as they lay down, I take a step backwards right away and I call the dog out. Come on, buddy. Now, you don't want to come out, huh? Oh, yes, that's actually one of your guardians. Probably shouldn't bark at or growl at her. Never never correct a dog for growling, because that's actually a warning. So then, as soon as the dog lays down, it gets to come out. So what we're saying is, once you achieve a relaxed state, you get your exit. Now, once the dog starts going in there and laying down right away, next time we do it, after he lays down, we take a step backwards and we wait 1 second after laying down before we call him out. Next time, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and we work our way up. When I get to the end, I could actually come home from work, and I can open the door, and I can go in the bathroom and change clothes, take a shower, go make some dinner. The door is wide open. My dog's waiting for permission to exit the kennel. And I would say the word release, and that she would come running out. But when you guys come home, is this like a little mini tornado waiting to happen?
Oh, God.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. So if you let them out, you're releasing that crazy energy. So what I do is, and I'll actually do this, and you just film them. Don't worry about, you won't be able to see me when I'm standing up. Okay. So what I do is, if they're normally really excited, I kind of open it kind of the same way I described, and I'm blocking it with my feet. And I'm going to wait for the dog to sit and then calm down. So you want to have somebody sitting over there or over there so they can actually see and indicate when they sit, say 1, and when they lay down, say 2. And so basically when the dog's actually relaxed, I take a step back, and the dog stays there. And when I kind of shift this way, normally I would go straight back here, but for camera purposes, I want to kind of let you see. So I'm going to shift to the side. And I pause between each step. And the dog, anytime the dog tries to come out, I rush back here to say no. And so I wait for the dog eventually to sit and then to, normally I'd be all the way up against, but again, I want the camera to be able to see it. Now when I step away, I take kind of big steps. So this way the dog understands I can't run out, because if we let them run out with crazy unbalanced energy, then that's the energy that they're gonna run around and jump up and bark at everyone. These dogs, and see how T kind of came out quietly and he wasn't sure if he was allowed to come out? Now, I wasn't paying attention, so when you're doing that, make sure you're watching here. Because if he does that on his own, then he thinks he can auto-release. The idea is, no, you gotta wait until I say release. One of my clients says parole. I like those funny command words. But this way the dog understands, I can't come out of the kennel until I'm calm and balanced. And then when we let them out, we're rewarding that calm and balanced energy. Now, if your dog doesn't like the kennel, which he doesn't, he breathes, he pants, he drools. The boxer that took an hour and 15 minutes drooled, and it was one of these type of kennels made harder. He drooled with such volume, they pulled these out. They thought it was peeing in the kennel. It was just drool. And
that's what we thought.
And so that's anxiety. He's stressed out. And a lot of my clients, the dog starts busting out, and they chew the kennel. Like, how do I get a stronger kennel? Like, if your child's freaking out about something, you say, how can I get a stronger straitjacket? We want to help them get over it. So the more that we practice these positive reinforcers, then the dog's like, this is a good place. Every time I go in here, there's a treat. So especially when the dogs are gone, put a treat in there. Now, these are smart dogs. Probably put one dog coming into both kennels and get them both. But again, he's going in there and a positive thing happens. We would prefer to say ketchup every time he gets it, but even if we don't say the word, it's still something positive. Anytime he gets a new treat, a new toy, you should find it in here. And again, get a bully stick from the Green Spot, our favorite store in Omaha, and then zip it in the back. So and have it hanging low enough where he can lay down there and chew on it. Right here, you just have to zip it onto these, but make sure it's a long zip. And the idea is to help him practice. Now, the other thing you might want to do is actually pull this out and put it in your living room. And maybe, I'm sorry, Mustard, we'll get you out in a sec. It's just when you're watching TV, just pull out a treat and throw it. And after a while, you're pretty good. The dog practices going in there and something good happening. And then after a while, you can put him in there and put it in your living room, close the door, and he practices being calm inside the kennel. And we want to do it for progressively longer and longer periods of time. Now, the rule is once a dog can do it for up to 5 minutes, or excuse me, 2 hours, you don't have to practice beyond that. I don't think in this case it's going to have to be go that long. I think there's a lot of other contributing factors we talked about off camera. But the idea is just to create a lot of positive associations and credits. And after a while, you say ketchup, and that dog will make a beeline and go straight in here, just like he did there. Ketchup. And then I would start treating after. A lot of people throw the treat in to get the dog to go get in the kennel like I was doing at first, which is great. But after a while, what we want to do is when he goes in there, then we would give the treat and say ketchup, and then we would close it. Ketchup? Well, this is Beau, and his kennel's name is Ketchup. And these are some tips and tricks you can use to help your dog have a positive association with the kennel.